This week, I caught myself rushing again. Now, it wasn't a physical rushing, but it was this inner feeling like I was late to something, like time was slipping through my hands. And then I looked at the note on my laptop, which says the rush is imaginary, and it's been sitting there for months. And this week, it landed a little bit differently. Ahoy, and welcome to another episode of The Captain's Log. This week's episode is about how to move with intention and avoid the trap of dropping the things that matter most. Now, the world is moving really, really fast, like exponentially fast. And I was listening to a podcast with Mo Goddard the other day, and he was saying that AI is actually doubling in power every 5.7 months. Now, if that's exponential, imagine how quickly that's going to be going in the next 12 months, 2 years. It's pretty wild when you think about it. And things are evolving so quickly that it's really easy to feel like you're falling behind. And when that feeling creeps in, the temptation is to move faster and to try and do more. But what I'm actually learning and relearning is that the real power move is actually to slow down. And it's to know where you're headed and to really trust your plan and to focus on just a few key levers each day that actually move things forward. Because presence is ultimately a leadership skill. I was on a webinar with Alex Hormozi a while back, and it was the one, it was a webinar where I wrote this post-it note down. He said, pull out a pen, and I want you to write this down. The rush is imaginary, and so I did on this sticky note. When it wears out, I rewrite it and I stick it back on there. And honestly, it's been on my laptop since then, and it's kind of changed everything. Whenever I feel that internal pressure, like I'm not doing enough or I'm behind, I take a look at that note and I come back to the present moment. And he also shared something else really powerful. It was a Japanese fable about a samurai and a samurai master. So this young Japanese guy goes up to the samurai master and he says, "Well, how long will it take me to become a samurai?" And the samurai master says, 10 years. And the guy says, "Well, what if I work harder? What if I train longer? What if I show up more?" And the samurai master says to him, "Well, then it's going to take you 20 years. And the guy's like, "Well, why? If I'm doing more work, if I'm showing up more, if I'm trying harder." And the samurai master's like, "Well, you can't rush presence. The whole point of being a samurai is to be present. And if you're rushing and you're focused on the future, then, you're not being a samurai. And presence is actually what makes a samurai. The path of the samurai is to actually be present. And the same goes for leadership. You can either live in reactivity and stress, or you can lead from clarity and you can just, be focused and lay one brick at a time. And what I'm really sitting with this week is that idea. I'm sure you've heard this before, but slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I've seen so many moments, especially inside leadership teams, where people are rushing, trying to fix problems by acting really quickly. But in the process, they don't actually solve anything. They actually just move the chaos around. And as a facilitator, the real art of being a facilitator, the real art of facilitation is to actually hold that tension of not knowing long enough for new ways of knowing to emerge. And slowing down, it doesn't mean, I'm not saying that, to drag your feet. What I'm saying is that it's about making thoughtful moves and following your plan and resisting that pull to chase every shiny object or comparison spiral. And if you're feeling rushed this week, ask yourself why. Is there something that you're doing out of pressure and it's not coming from your purpose? And have you dropped the needle movers in favor of what feels productive but, perhaps isn't? For me, this week is really about simplicity. So what I've done is I've mapped out my goals for this quarter, this year, and the next 3 to 5 years. And right now, what I'm doing is focusing on the mundane, The mundane things, they might seem a little bit boring, but they're the powerful things. It's the daily activities, those daily bricks, those levers that I can pull each day to move the needle. And right now, what that looks like for me is, doing great client work. It's writing this newsletter and recording this podcast, and it's about, I'm focused on launching one digital product, and that's it. No new offers, no frantic editing marathons, and no chasing dopamine disguised as opportunity. It's just about following the plan and executing it calmly, and being in trust, and just really knowing, having full faith. I know where it's taking me. So that's the compass I'm working with this week. Don't rush, refocus, one brick, one lever, and one present moment at a time. Because the truth is, the rush is imaginary. And that's it for this week. Thanks for listening. Have a great week, and until next time, hold fast.